all right. We back with another episode of Check the Credits podcast. Once again, we call this Check the Credits because we want to put a little more emphasis and attention and pay homage to some people who are in today's climate and the way the industry is with streaming and no physical product. You can't really tell who did what or who's responsible for what unless you do a little bit of digging and researching. So today we got a guest on the show who's a producer, writer, music director, 5-time Grammy nominated, three-time Grammy Award winning producer who's worked with the likes of Beyonce, Usher, French Montana, Kevin Gates, Omarion, Rico Love, Diddy, Trey Songz. The list goes on. So today, without further ado, I want to introduce my brother, D-Town the Great. What's going on, my brother?
Good, Chop, man. Long time no see, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got that Jersey City lineage.
Same way you looked 20 years ago, dog.
I'm trying. I know
you drinking water.
Hey,
drinking
a lot
water.
of it.
I'm drinking Casamigos, so I mean, it's close.
Oh, okay. It's clear. It's clear. There you go. It's clear. Man, I always start off with who you work with, but like I said, it's Check the Credits, so we want to bring it, full circle and let some people know what are some of these records that people may be unfamiliar that you've done and worked on and been a part of.
Let's see. Can I take it back to the beginning? My first record, my very first placement was in 2000. I believe it was either 99 or 2000. It was a record for Bell Biv DeVoe. They were doing a comeback album. The record was My Crib. And I got that placement through Brandon and Brian through Jagged Edge. They wrote the song.
Got you.
Next thing out, after that, I went on to work on their next following project, which was it was the album that they did after J.E. Heartbreak. That next album after that, I can't think of the name.
Got you.
I did a record on that called This Goes Out. And then, Jagged Edge pretty much gave me my start in the business.
Got you. So. And so what records are you part of that people may not know about for Beyonce?
I did a record for Beyonce called Radio. Co-produced that with Jim Johnson and Rico Love.
There you go.
Sasha Fierce album.
Okay. And so I remember we got similarities. We was down with a production team. Started out with a team with partners. So bring people up to speed. Let them know what was the name of that production team you was down with, brother.
The name of that production team was the Corner Boys.
All right.
Yeah. So we that was me and my former partner Pierre. We still cool to this day. That's
yeah. Shout out to Pierre. I see Pierre on Facebook all the time. All right.
Yeah. Right. We did we did some cool things, man. We did a record, a few records with Omarion, Marcus Houston. It was Omarion's debut album. Our song was the first song on the album. It was called I Wish.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And then we did another song on this album called I'm Gonna Change. It was a ballad. And after that, we went on to work on with Marcus Houston. And we produced a record for him called All Because of You. That was a second single for his debut album, or second album.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you guys work. I know you specifically work closely with Rico Love, and give a little backstory on that. Like, how did that start? How you start from being the Corner Boys to working with Rico Love?
Well, Rico was unofficially like the third member of the Corner Boys, low key, because we all met. We all met at the beginning of all our careers. So the Corner Boys got established. Like I said, we were put on through Jagged Edge, and so the Jagged Edge had a studio in one of the group members' house, Cal Norman. He lived in Stone Mountain at the time, and he had a studio. And every time his studio was inside of it was in a cul-de-sac. So anytime anytime we was going to the studio, everybody be like, "Yo, we're going to the corner." That's the name of the studio spot. Gotcha. So we'd be in there, we'd be in there every day just making beats. We didn't have a name at the time.
All right.
So Jagged Edge sitting in the basement, it was like, man, if y'all gonna be a production duo, y'all gotta have a name, man. So it was like, well, I mean, shit, we don't know what to call ourselves and shit. So it was like, we gotta think of a name for y'all. So it was like, you know what, we're gonna call y'all the Corner Boys.
All right.
I was like, nigga, I ain't never sold drugs in my life, man. I ain't no corner boy. He like, nigga. The house is on the corner. Y'all niggas stay in this shit. Y'all work all day,
Word,
every day. Y'all corner boys, bro.
word.
So I was like, you know what? They do kind of have a ring to it. So we corner boys,
All
you
right,
know?
dope, dope,
So
dope.
shout out to Jagged Edge for giving us that name. Cal specifically.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then y'all so you said Rico was like an unofficial third member at the.
Yeah. So we met him. What happened was Jagged Edge had a singer that was signed to them. His name was BJ. He was from Milwaukee. So Rico was cool with BJ, and he just ended up coming to the studio with him one night. So he gets in the studio. He will always pop up and pop up. So he's like, "Y'all rap or whatever, you know." And one night, I never forget, Jagged Edge was going to Magic City, and they asked us if we wanted to go, and I was like, "No, I'm just sit back here and work." And Reed looked at me. He's like, "Shit, if you ain't going, I ain't going. I'm trying to work too." We might have did like 18 songs that night. And that was really our first time even working with each other. We just became brothers from that point on. You know what I'm saying? We met through a mutual friend. He just stayed coming to the studio all the time. We were young. All of us was like 18, 19 years old at the time. Yeah. So from that point on, it was just like we just clicked.
Dope, dope. And at this time, this is Rico Love. This is pre Big Rico Love, the songwriter, Division One.
Yeah. This is the kid, the guy that's still at FAMU taking the bus to
Okay.
Atlanta. You
All
know?
right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
And so how does that morph into y'all becoming this new thing and this new entity, and y'all start producing and writing and doing all these hits for all these people?
When so eventually, time goes by. Me, Corner Boys, we had our moment. We did what we do, and Reek just kept working. Stayed persistent. What happened was he ended up getting a deal with Usher Raymond. Usher signed him as an artist. So he signs him as an artist and everything. So he ends up writing a record for Usher, and the record was called Throwback, and it was on Usher's album. The album that sold Crazy Records. The
Confession.
Confessions. Um, next thing you know, everything just started taking off really crazy. He calls me one night. He's like, "Bro, shit moving fast, bro. I need you to be a part of this, bro. We've been locked in forever anyway, so you might as well go ahead and just really lock in for real." So I packed my bags, came to Miami, and we just started rocking
That's
out.
what it is. That's what it is,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Man,
Yeah,
that's truly a blessing, man, and definitely to work with
yeah,
somebody, and that just shows goes to show to people. Like I always tell people, your relationship building, networking, and just being solid with people over the years, because you don't
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
starting out, you
Yeah,
guys seem to be the guys. You know what I mean? And he was just trying to get his way in, and sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who's going to be who, what position people are going to be in, so you got to treat everybody right and equal and fair.
yep. That's a fact.
And you know what I mean?
That's a
So
fact.
that definitely is an example in the sign showing people how to do that. Also, I know
Yeah.
you got a musical background, musician, music director
hmm
as well. So what's that like for you?
You know, um, I grew up playing in church.
Definitely,
Went to
definitely.
college, studied classical and jazz in college. So my first the first time I actually played out for an artist was actually with Jagged Edge. I did a short tour with them,
Okay,
and it was just an acoustic set we would do with just me on the piano, and they would do their whole show. And then after that, I really kind of fell back from it. But when Reek decided he wanted to to do be an artist again, he needed a music director, and
gotcha.
he knew he knew what I did on the keys or
Uh,
whatever. So he's like, "Well, it makes sense." So I got back in there, and I've just been working with him ever since. I haven't really done too much musical live performances outside of the stuff that I've done with him.
okay,
'Cause I really didn't want to go. I was really trying to just focus on the production, but it's my brother,
no
so I'm
doubt,
like, you
no
know what?
doubt,
You the MD, you be the band, whatever.
no doubt.
I'm a lock in. Let's do it. Whatever we need to make it happen, we're gonna do it. So
That's what it is. That's what it is. So
you know,
so what's y'all process like, man? If you can talk about that a little bit, like how do y'all go about crafting these records for these people? Do y'all just go in and work on a bunch of records, or do you get calls for people and y'all just go in on the spot and cook up? Like, what's your process?
I mean, for the most part, we get a phone call. We like to we work every day for the most part, so we always working on records. But we get in with the artists, have a conversation with them, just get a vibe from them. Next thing you know, I start playing some chords. Uh, then he'll get in the booth and lay his melody, lay his lyrics or whatever, and then I will build around that. So my process is pretty much just give him enough space to do what he needs to do, and then after that we create the record.
Gotcha.
Fight the sonics and everything. We don't really make complete beats and he write to a whole beat.
Gotcha.
I just like to have it where it could be an up tempo, it could be a ballad or whatever. We figure that out once you get the song.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. And I always ask people this. I mean, I know you come from a musical background in terms of being a pure musician. And I can't recall, but I don't think it's too much sampling or interpolation too much in your production and the works y'all done.
Yeah, I learned earlier that.
Nah.
Yeah, man, I like my publishing.
There you go. I got you. I was handicapped getting in the game because I couldn't play shit. So I started out sampling.
Joe good though. Light Fingers had it.
Oh yeah. Joey, that was the missing component for me, bro. You brought that in and everything came full circle, bro.
Yeah, 100.
And so what's your preference?
Oh, not to cut you off too. You do realize, man, y'all was the first cast to show me an MPC, bro. I had no clue what an MPC was. Y'all was the first cast to actually put me in a real studio, bro. I was a kid, bro. This is my senior year in high school, bro. You know what I mean? And y'all really took me under y'all wing, man, and let me come see y'all work. I didn't even understand that process for real. Y'all really showed me that, but I want to thank y'all.
No doubt, bro. Joe told me, he's like, you remember D came to the studio when we was at the Carpet Place and when we was at Try Hard over there with Joe Smith when we was in the Board of Ed. I said, word? He was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Jay told me the same thing.
Man.
I said, wow, that's crazy. Again, that's why it's always cool to, keep a good rapport and try to do good by people and do right by people, bro. That's all it's meant, man. Just trying to show love. That's the sole purpose of what I'm even doing now, man. I just want to, use all those relationships, all those resources, and all the information I got and kind of help and bring people on who got information to share with people and help them out as well. You know what I'm saying? Because, this is a community where we got to all, we got to work together. You know how this stuff goes, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Got to work together.
100%.
So, so I'm assuming then your preference is to be in the studio with the artist, or at least have ideas of what you're working on. You know what I'm saying? As far as with the artist.
Yeah. If you have the opportunity, if you have the opportunity to get in with them, I always prefer that. Because you can send them a crazy record, but if that's not the space at the end, it's not going to click. You got to meet them where they at. And then if you want to take them someplace, that's cool, but you got to at least come to where they at. You know what I'm saying? Musically. So for the most part, I always prefer to, if we can get in with the artist, let's lock in with them.
And so since you've been around that long and you know what the MPC is, obviously, what's your preference though? What's you like, software versus hardware?
Man.
Logic, yeah, okay.
Logic,
we Logic boys. Corner boys, Logic.
Man.
I've been on Logic since when I first converted to software. Totally, that was it. I saw Logic when Apple bought it. I saw it before that when it was with eMagic.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, but when Logic bought it, it was like, it just kind of, I got rid of I ain't gonna hold you. Joe came to the studio one day, was like, yo, I just learned how to use all this stuff. How you about to change it to a whole new system? I'm like, bro, you see what this could do, bro. You ain't gonna care. I got rid of I had all my hardware. I think I kept like a 1080, maybe. I got rid of my console, my board. I had the digital Mackie board. I got rid of everything. I was like, yo, Logic do everything.
Yeah, bro. And it's so convenient, bro. Think about all this shit you had to order every time you got a session. You got to work out of LA, New York, or wherever, man. You got to write like this long a list that you need for sound and shit. All you need now is your laptop and a MIDI board, bro.
And keep it moving, bro. I was like,
keep it moving.
I was like, that was a blessing, bro. I had no idea, bro. Right. I said, I saw that. I was like, my homeboy had been trying to get me on it for like maybe since like 01, 02. I was like, bro, it's cool. I was dealing with like Digital Performer. Pro Tools was a little out the price range when you wanted a full system back then. It was like $10,000-$12,000 just to get in. So we was doing Digital Performer and hard disc recorders, Mackies and D838s and all that stuff. But he said, yo, Michelle, you got to get over with this Logic. I was like, But by I think it was maybe '04. '04 came at Apple bought it. It was over. They
Yeah,
sold me. I
yeah.
got rid of everything, man. So yeah, I'm the same way.
I think for me it was like '07, by '07, '08. That's my career.
Got you.
It took me a minute.
Got
Yeah.
you. Got you. All right. So, collaborating. I mean, I feel like everything y'all kind of do is like more collaborative effort, even though it's
Mhm.
So, I kind of asked that. What's your limit? I know y'all got in house and team, but I'm saying outside of your team, what's your limit? Because you see today you got 30 credits, 30 people on one credit, bro. Like, what's your limit as far as collaborating on a record?
I mean, for the most part, it's been me, Reek. Sometimes we do records with Jim Johnson, Danger. Um, but I mean, it's never been more than like 3 or 4 people on a record. Tops.
I'm with you. That's where.
That's maybe because you might have had 2 people that wrote the song. You know what I'm saying? As far as lyric and melody.
Yeah.
Then 2 guys that contribute to the music. But I mean, there's only but so much stuff you can add to a record, bro. I mean, I'm just 2 records. It's like 10 people on that motherfucker. I'm like, what? Did the nigga breathe on it or something? Like, damn.
Yeah, like what? We always say like, yo, what can you do? I remember one time, bro. It was funny. We was at a video shoot and we did I think we had just did the K Slade record. We was at K Slade video shoot and Fat Man Scoop was interviewing us and he said, who did the beat? Because there were 4 of us standing there. He's like, which one of y'all did the beat? So instead of just keeping it real, we all did it. Yo, that nigga looked at us and was like, wait, so he did the snare, he did the hi-hat, he did the bass line, yo, we was dying. I was like, we try and save face like we a team, but that team don't mean every time everybody do have a part in one beat. I might have came up with the beat idea, Joe might have came and added some keys, you know what I'm saying? Mill might have said, yo, arrange it this way, but we was trying to sell it like we all did it. You know what I mean? That shit was funny as hell. He was like, so
but honestly, that makes sense though because your primary thing may be more programming, and he provides the top line, the keys or whatever.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Then you got one person that may have the vision, be like, you need to take that sound out. That sound out. So that makes sense. But you hear a record, bro, and it's like 4 records on it, and it's like 7 different producers that's on it. It's like you got 4 sounds on this whole beat, yo. It's an 808, a snap, and like maybe like 2 extra sounds, bro. It took 70 y'all to do this motherfucker, bro.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Yeah, it's overkill right about now.
But I get it, though. I get it. I get what they do.
I think a lot of times, though, I was talking to Arsonist from Heatmakers, and a lot of times he was saying like, a lot of that's just about getting the placement because a lot of times people don't have the access, so that it just be about getting the placement. So, but what's your? I know you had to have them. You work with too many people to not have had them. What's some of your people always try to get away with? I let a lot of people slide with this too. What's your worst studio experience and what's your best? You don't have to necessarily name names if you want to. You still actively work. It ain't trying to get you, you know what I'm saying, out of the business and blackball is done. But yeah, what would be considered? I know you have great times, but we all have those sessions and those artists that's just like, oh, here we go again. So what's your? Let's start with your worst. People always try to get by me with that one, but what's your worst studio experience?
Probably one of my worst experiences was we had one artist that showed up kind of late and they were extremely drunk, like drunk out of their mind.
Wow.
And they were kind of like, the person started talking to me a little bit crazy. And I'm like, bro, you're a big artist, bro, and I don't want to have to fuck you up and miss out on the opportunity, bro. But this shit ain't gonna fly, you know what I mean? So the person, they kind of felt my energy and they just stormed out. I'm like, damn, bro, this shit is about to be a wrap. My nigga's like, fuck, man. But Reek came in there, he was able to calm the situation down. Everybody talked for a while, and next thing you know, it was just history. But it was like, yo, the person was like belligerently drunk.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? So just talking like real reckless and everything. I'm like, yo, you need to relax because I'm gonna fuck you up. Bro. You know what I mean?
Tell people, bro, yo, we some cool, calm, passive people, bro. Jersey City, but when the Jersey City kick in, bro, it's a whole nother. It's a whole nother thing.
You can't just talk to me any type of way. I'm a man first before
there you
anything.
go.
Oh, man.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go, bro. That's a fact. All right, so
Yeah,
what would be one or some of your best studio experiences?
I would say my best studio experience was probably Beyonce.
I was about to say it before you said it. I knew it got to be Beyonce.
Like for one, obviously she's extremely talented, but she's just so cool and down to earth. You know what I
Word,
mean? And she's just a pleasure to work with.
word, word.
So just being in the studio with her, it's a vibe, bro. It's a real vibe, man. She's like, if you got in a shirt, she thinks that shirt is cool. She's gonna be like, oh, I like that shirt.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
Sean would wear that shirt. That's something Sean would
yeah,
wear.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
dope. That's dope.
Yeah, bro. Like she's real cool, man.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
You know who else was a vibe for me too, though? Don't mind me, man. I got crazy
No,
allergies
you
right
good,
now,
you
bro.
good.
So we did a record. I got called in for a session to do a record with Puff, and it was a producer by the name of Chop from out of Chicago.
Young Chop.
He was doing all that. Yeah, Young Chop. So that was directed with him and Meek Mill. I Want It All.
Got you, yeah.
So I just remember doing that session with Puff, and he has a way of talking to you, bro, where you feel like anything you want to do in life, you can accomplish it, bro. So I
Facts.
was like, bro, I gotta come in here because I'm literally sitting behind the keyboard playing shit, and he's just speaking life into
Yeah,
me, bro. I'm like, nigga, I'm about to make the most incredible record ever, bro. I just
yeah,
feel it,
yeah,
nigga. He's a motivator, bro.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's like the Steve Jobs of music, bro. You
Word,
know what I'm
word,
saying?
word.
He may not touch an instrument, but he just know how to, what I'm saying, speak life into the people that get the shit done and motivate them to,
Yeah,
you know.
I tell people, I'm like, bro, we hear all the stories, we hear a lot, a lot of the ill stuff about Puff, but the reality of it is, if you work with him and had the experience, bro, truly, I knew even times we worked with him, it was like a blessing. And ironically,
Yeah,
we worked with him and LL in the same session, which was crazy. I always tell
mm-hmm.
this story. It's a weird scenario that they was competing against each other without even really knowing it, bro. We was in there recording the record, and every time one of them would come out the booth, he'd tell us, yo, turn my vocals up, turn his down. And then Puff would go in there and be like, yeah, turn mine up, turn his down. But the whole thing prior to getting in there, I feel like I tell people, like, I've had preconceived notions about people before meeting them, and I feel like the people
Mm-hmm.
who are like that, you think they have the egos, they extra, they cry. You just said Beyonce is
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful person to work with. You would think they have the in all honesty and fairness to people, they have enough going on and done so much that they have the right to be arrogant and act like assholes, and
Yeah,
they don't.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's crazy. It's like
yeah.
the people who don't even have like a ounce of what these people accomplished act like they God's gift to everything. You know what I mean? So it was a great
You can't tell
experience.
them anything, bro. They don't want to
Mm-mm.
listen. They don't want to listen
Nah,
to you. They don't want to
nah.
take your advice.
Yeah, and they were like I
They
said,
keep
though,
it out.
yeah, that level of artist and that level of producer, for them to be like, "What you think?" I'm looking at it like, nigga, you Puff. What you think, nigga? What you mean? You know what I
Exactly,
mean? But that was
exactly.
dope. That was
Yeah,
that was definitely dope, bro. Okay, so
yeah, man.
being we come from an era of in the studio, working with the artists, doing all of that. And even from like up and coming, our grind on the up and coming, we still had to be more hands on with our experience. But today you got,
Mm-hmm.
the beat stores, the apps, all these different things, YouTube. What's your take
Mm-hmm.
on, like selling beats online? Like either or for like, established person like yourself. You don't have to, but established
Mm-hmm.
person like yourself
Yeah.
or like an up and coming guy. What's your take on just selling beats online with without the in person connection sometimes?
It's funny you asked me that because I recently just started a campaign called Cooking with the Great, and what I was doing, I geared it towards like independent artists,
Mm,
because it was so many artists that would want to work with me, but they just couldn't afford it, and I'm like, bro, it's a lot of dope people out here, and I don't want to miss out on an opportunity just because they ain't got 25K to pay for a
exactly,
record. You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, bro, you know. So I think it's cool, bro. It's like a gift and a curse because it kind of fucks the game up a little in a sense to where label might not want to pay as much as they would usually pay for a record now because they feel like they can go get this cat right here and he's gonna give you the beat for like $300
Yeah,
or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But at the same time, I always tell people, what you're paying for more than just a beat.
Exactly.
You're paying for the
Exactly.
experience that comes with that beat. Putting together that whole record. And that's something that you can't really put a price tag on for the most part. I mean, Sonics, niggas is making beats in their bedrooms these days. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? But they really know how to actually consistently make a hit record.
Yeah,
You know?
that's why you get paid more money. That's why you get the big bucks because it's
Exactly.
a greater
Exactly.
chance that when you get
Exactly.
in with people who have the experience, it's just like a doctor. A doctor spent years of school and training and learning how to do something in his field. That's why he get the big bucks when he get out. He's not getting paid $100,000 for an operation because he know how to do operation right now. It's all those years of experience and time and effort you put in to be an expert at what you do, and that's the difference. I think, but I do believe the industry kind of messes that up because they make everything feel like it's an even playing field. Like a person with your experience is, I don't care how dope somebody is making a beat in his room, it's never going to be equal to somebody with the level and years of experience and what and your ability. Is like you can't compare the two. Yes, somebody can make a dope beat, but we all know there's a lot of dope beats and whack songs. There's a lot of dope rappers who can't make great songs. So dope singers who can't make dope songs or consistently do it. You know what I mean? We know that if we go in the lab multiple times with you guys, they're gonna come out with hit records. They know that. That's a fact. But we don't know that when you buy a $10 beat or a $100 beat online that we're gonna get a hit record out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So most definitely, bro. Yeah. Most definitely.
So I mean, a lot of that has to do with like social media. It played a big role in that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just the internet period, because people could just really, like you said, you could just make a beat in your bedroom, throw that shit out there. If it's a cool beat, you could be the next guy. I came from an era where you had to be groomed.
Yeah.
I studied under people, you know what I'm saying, that were the guys, you know what I mean? And it was like, when it was my time, it was like, yeah, you graduated now. It's no graduation.
Nah, I'm just talking. There's no process. Everybody want to skip steps. Everybody want to get from, as I said, people want to go from the bedroom to Billboard, like immediately. Like I just learned how to fiddle on this computer and click and tap this beat in, and now I want whatever. And then because they're so happy to just be a part of the experience, they'll do it for pennies on the dollar, or they don't even care about getting paid. You know what I mean? We all started out with the love of music. And I get that, but we started to figure out our worth and our value as we got up in it and start doing more. And it's like, yeah, you gotta keep your value. But I understand it. I'm the same way with you. Like I'm working on something similar where I like working because I feel like the true talent is out there. It's in the people who may not have the money. You know what I mean? May not have the opportunity. So I'm the same way. I would.
Yeah, these last couple of months, I've run across some really talented artists. Where it's like, bro, if I wouldn't have thought to do this, I would have never got this experience.
Encountered them.
You know what I'm saying? It's been a learning experience. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you gotta be willing to. And that's just where we at right now in this game, bro. It's just like you gotta make yourself a little bit more accessible. Bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely, bro. And another one, man, just to give people some perspective and insight, man. What's the entry level coming in? What was the least amount? I'm talking about like on a professional level. What's the least amount you've been paid? And on a high level, what's the most amount you've been paid? Just to give people a grand scheme of where.
My entry level was, I want to say was $3,500.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, that was it. That was that magical number. We thought we was doing something with that 35. That 35. Woo! I said, man, let me get. I need about 10 of these 35s, nigga. We out here.
Yeah.
Word.
And the most I got paid was, I want to say $50K.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, the most I got paid. It's crazy because the record ain't do shit, but.
Hey.
But it's like they dropped the artist though, you know what I'm saying? But they put the song out and they just dropped the artist song, and I'm like, well, hey.
All right, yeah, man. So what do you prefer, man, with this era of the music industry, or 10, 15 years ago or 20 years ago when you kind of came in? What do you prefer, and what's What's the pros and cons of why you prefer this versus that?
I definitely prefer 10 to 15 years ago. Mainly because honestly, the process.
Yeah,
I miss that, bro.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When I came up in the studio, bro, it was me, Rico, Kerry Hilson, the Dream. Before he was the Dream. All of us was sitting under Tricky Stewart, bro.
yeah,
And it was like we were all learning from each other. It was low key a competition who's gonna show up today. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But we had the sensei that was telling us like, yo, you know what? You need to do this. You should format it this way. And that process doesn't exist anymore for these guys. Like they're doing it themselves. And the gift and the curse is that it's winning now, but the curse is that it's winning to the point where they're comfortable doing what they're doing, so you can't tell them
yeah.
anything.
And once they're rewarded for it, and they start
Once they're
making
rewarded
money, it's
for it,
like you really can't tell them nothing.
exactly.
They're not that because the end goal in their mind is to make money, but they don't see the detriment. It's just like selling drugs in the '80s. Everybody was getting all of that
Hmm.
money, but nobody looked at what it was going to be like, the ramification from all those drugs, from all of those
Yeah.
crack, those crack kids and the fiends and everything, and children not having their families and everything. You know what I mean? So I don't
Yeah.
think people look at the outcome of what it's going to do. Yeah, you making a whole lot of money right now, but at what cost? You know what I mean?
Yeah. How
Yeah, and
long?
what is this gonna put us in? Like even like with sampling, I say this too. I remember early on, a lot of people frowned on sampling because it was like, okay, I sampled, but I also understood music, I understood structure, I understood
Yeah.
chords, and you know what I mean. And then
Yeah.
getting around musicians and understanding, because to evolve and to
Yeah.
last, you gotta understand
Hmm.
music. It's no way to be a producer or a writer, anything
Hmm.
in music, and don't have the basic understanding of how music works and the fundamentals of it. So you have to, and I think that when you shortchange yourself or don't really get into it, or even learning the history, like a lot of kids today, I talk to them, they don't know nothing before now. Like
Hmm.
they just know what's going
Yeah.
on right now. They don't know nothing. Even in
No.
the world, they don't know nothing about who did what, who participated in this, who created this. It's like crazy. So it's no way you can go on to be a future anything. You know what I mean? You can't establish anything because you don't have the information, the knowledge, and you don't want to go through the experience of doing it. So, or you just get the quick money
Exactly, bro.
grab. It's a crazy
Hmm.
thing. So I love to embrace up and coming artists. And again, what I learned over the years, what I used to do was try to force it on people, but I just find people who want it, and then those who want it, I
Yeah.
help them and cultivate that, and
Hmm.
and that works better. And I feel
Hmm.
like that'll go a lot further than trying to force these guys. Because some people they don't they don't
Yeah.
they don't want it. I get it. I wish they
Yeah.
did, but they don't. So all you can do is
Yeah.
just instill it in the people who want it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that do want
Yeah,
it too.
yeah, definitely,
You know.
definitely.
You
It's a
know.
lot of artists out there, a lot of musicians who want to know, who just may not be privy or may not have access. They
Yeah.
might have been in somewhere in Wyoming or somewhere where there was no scene and don't really know. You know what I mean? What was what and who did what
Exactly.
or how things work. So
Exactly.
really, really, really
Hmm.
dope, bro. Really dope. I mean, you mentioned this thing you was working on. What you can go into more detail with that as far as like with the new artists and the production and having access to you.
Yeah. So what I did is I put out three installments. One was a R&B edition. It was just basically 10 R&B records. And then I put out 10 rap records, and then I did like an acoustic volume as well.
Mm.
And I reduced my rate, and I just did it as a first come first serve basis. But you didn't just get the beat from me. Like you would FaceTime me while you were in the studio recording. I'm telling you exactly. I'm walking you through the process like I'm actually in the studio with
Dope,
you.
dope, dope.
So like I said, it's been real cool, man. It's been real cool. It's been real cool. I've come across some extremely talented people from London, all over the place, bro.
Word.
So
And that's something else I love about the internet too. We were limited in the sense that we didn't have access to the world before. We got the world at our fingertips, so
exactly,
we're not limited to just the talent that's within our immediate circle or our immediate reach. Now you got
exactly.
access to the world, and I'm seeing, especially in R&B. Me and Joe talk about this all the time. It's like not even on no racial stuff, but it's like I'm starting to see more dope white or international artists that really have more of appreciation for R&B. It's like the black artists are scared to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
It's like you getting
yeah,
mad at this
yeah.
one and Ed Sheeran and all these different people for saying, oh, they taking over. Yeah, well, they're comfortable making the music that we should be making. We don't,
Bro, I went,
we in my opinion, I don't that's something I mean, I do understand because I know if you dangling money in front of people's face to go pop or to make this type of record or to do this trap record or to do, this different type of R&B. I don't know what this is right now we dealing with, but if you do that, that compromises the integrity. But I feel like, people got to
mhm.
get back to making real music, soul music, R&B music, music with meaning and context and concepts and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
People will appreciate it,
yeah.
bro. I yeah, I was in South Africa in 2019. Was it? Yeah, 2019, right? And we went to a club out there, and the age demographic for the club was maybe like 21 to like
Mm-hmm.
28. It pretty much a young crowd, bro. These cats was in there playing old Jay Z, old Biggie. I'm talking about basically all old New York
Yeah.
shit. When I see motherfuckers was singing every word,
Wow.
they knew all the songs word for word, like old Nas shit, bro.
Wow.
They loved it.
Yeah.
They appreciate that classic hip hop out there. You know what I mean? These were kids,
Wow.
bro, that knew these songs word for word, bro.
Wow. Yeah.
I haven't heard that yet, and I've been going out here, and I haven't heard that yet, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You
it. It all boils down to people are so fearful of being rejected or it not being on the radio all day long or them playing in the club all the
Mhm.
time. But I tell people this is the best time in the world because we have access to you could be out here and be one of the biggest artists, even on a low, if you just tap into the audience, tap into your audience.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Mhm.
everybody else. Somebody just sent me an artist the other day. And me and my wife was sitting at the table when she playing. She's like, "Yeah, he's cool." I said, "He's not your lane of music you like. But he
Mhm.
has an audience, so all he needs to do is
Yeah.
centralize his energy and focus on that audience because he's dope. But he just needed,
Yeah.
I think he's trying to focus to a broader audience. When narrow it down, get to the audience that wants
Mhm.
what you have, and you'll see more success
Mhm.
and you'll benefit and reap more rewards from that than trying to fit in with everything else that's going on because that's not your lane necessarily.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a thing, bro. Um,
Yeah.
so outside of that, what we doing right now? We in 2023. So what's up with D Town the Great? What we doing right now?
So D Town the Great right now is really like I said, I'm focusing on building that brand out to Cooking with the Great. I feel like that could really be something. And I'm actually looking into actually trying to develop a podcast myself.
Okay.
But it'll be a little bit different. It'll be me and because I like to cook.
All right, okay.
Yeah, my sister she's like a certified chef, and her and my mom they taught me like everything I know. So I have it. I'm trying to put together a show right now with me being I'll be in the kitchen chefing up my shit. Then I might go in the studio. and You watch me make
Dope.
you watch me make a meal
That's dope.
in the kitchen. Then go in the studio. Put together a record. It's called Cooking with the Great.
Yeah,
So I'm
cooking
giving
with
you
the
the recipe
great.
in the kitchen and in the studio.
That's
You see
dope.
me in there with the artist watching go through the whole process. Us eating the food that I just prepared for them and shit. You know what I
No
mean? Like,
doubt, no doubt. That's dope.
yeah,
That's
bro.
dope, bro.
Yeah.
That's dope.
But I've been working with also some new artists also that we've been working on. Artist signer Rock Nation by name of Kalen.
Okay.
Kalen for real.
Okay.
Real talented kid from Compton, bro. Rap cat. He's coming out real soon. We've been working on his project. And a few other things too, man. You gotta stay
Yeah,
working and keep the
you know how
lights
this
on.
go. You know how this go. All right, so
Yeah, bro.
bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we said a lot. We talked about a lot, bro. I definitely want to, shout you out and thank you for jumping on, especially at quick notice and getting you on here, man, showing love, bro.
Let me tell you something, bro. This is my first podcast, bro. That's why I had to drink, bro.
What?
'Cause, I'm not a talker like that, bro. I don't do
Oh, that's
interviews and all
dope. That's
that.
dope. I got the first
Yeah, bro.
one.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Okay. So
So you put my first NPC, and you gave me my first interview, bro.
Shout out to me. You feel me?
Hey, man, shout out to my dog.
That's what
yo,
it
you know what I
is,
mean?
man. I really appreciate you
100.
though, bro. Thanks, man. Keep much
Yeah,
continued
yeah,
success,
bro.
bro. You deserve it. Always been a
Appreciate
good
you,
dude,
bro.
always been a cool dude, and a talented guy at that. So, you know what I mean? What's for you is always gonna be for you, bro. So again,
Bro.
that's how we gonna do it. We normally end this off letting everybody know. I just need you to do one thing consistently while you out there listening to this great music that's going on. Check the credits. Do not forget to check the credits,
Check the
y'all.
credit.
All right, that's
100.
what it is, y'all. Peace.
Peace, my bro.
Woo!